Welcome back to the weapon gear guide for Splatoon 1. Last time we tackled shooters and blasters. Now we're covering rollers and brushes. And this class is, well, fairly short. But let's start with regular carbon. Now, typically carbons like to run some amount of damage up. And some amount of damage up. In this case, I actually don't recommend Ninja Squid in this game. Actually, no. I'm gonna rework it a little bit. Boom, there we go. While rollers do not have vertical flicks, you have a very good horizontal with carbon in this game that can kill you from over a line away with damage up. This is a bad example. Like so. Works even better for the first bomb. And rollers do not need to gain speed for the roll. But it's usually slower on average. Now for Carbon Deco, give up the special saver, but add more QR instead. Oh yeah, this is the only case of Seeker Rush in the game. No other weapon has it. But the vanilla one is better. Seeker Rush may seem cool, but it's not really that good. But it is fun though, I'll admit that. And it is cheaper than the vanilla one by 40 points, and you have light depletion instead of medium. But you can't spam as many Seeker Rushes as the other bomb rushes. What I'm trying to say is that Seeker Rush has a slower fire rate compared to the others. Splat Roller, same thing. Same thing as Carbon Deco. And personally, never roll, unless if you're like at point blank range. You know what? For Carbon Deco, no wait, for Crack-On Roller, and to an extent Koro Koro, this. And yes, this is the Koro Koro you're thinking of. You know, Koro Koro comics, that one magazine, that one comic in Japan, that one. Yeah, the Crack-On was one of the most hated weapons when the game first came out. Basically, the thing with rollers at launch in this game is that you don't need to aim for a one-hit. If the flick hit, see, if that was early Splatoon 1, that would one-hit KO. Stupid. Forgot to mention in my last video, but blasters indirects, when the game first came out, did not cap at 80. They can do up to 125. So if you got shot by the blaster, yeah, you're dead anyway. Chargers were a lot more stupid too. Which we'll get to that soon. Here's why I recommend the special saver on Koro Koro Roller. This thing is 220p on a roller with no bomb. Yeah, I'm sorry, you're getting like 2 of these Zukas a game. Now for the dynamos. Typically, I like to run this combo. And Dynamo was broken in this game. Like, look at this. However, you only get, like, it uses 20% of the ink tank in this game, so you only get 5 flicks. Not to mention, it has a really good kit. The gold dynamo, same thing. But the vanilla and gold dynamo have heavy depletion. And it didn't have to worry about vertical flicks in this game, because they don't exist. And now we go to Tempered Dynamo. Fun fact, the Tempered Dynamo is the most expensive weapon in this game, costing like over 36,000 coins. And this might be one of the fastest whale weapons in the game. Alright, now we're moving on to brushes. Now for brushes, typically I like to run this. And there's something cool about brushes in this game. They have something called a critical hit mechanic, or basically damage overlapping, like so. Notice how that doubled hit there, resulting in a 3 splat? Or just in a 3 hit outright. But ink brush is not really that good of a weapon in this game. You don't have permanent ink res, and yeah, when you try to roll through grades, yeah, this happens. You can't roll through grades in this game, or uninkable surfaces. You have Sprinkler and Strike. I hate to say this, but this is probably the worst, ink brush kit, and probably the worst brush in the game. Ink Brush Nouveau is a tiny bit better. You have the worst sub in the game, but you have the second best special. And of course, you're 180 HP. And now we get to the best ink brush of the 3, the permanent. Having Swamp On and Crack. And if you thought Octobrush was good... No, wait. Sorry, if you thought Ink Brush was good, wait till you meet Octobrush. Fun fact, Octobrush has the highest damage to the Rainmaker barrier in the game of any main weapon. And Octobrush can do this. It can 2-hit KO you. And this is what makes Octobrush better than Ink Brush. And this one actually does have a niche on maps like the Tower Rainmaker. And this is probably the best brush in the game. Ink Brush Nouveau ain't too shabby either. And I would call it the second best brush in the game. Right behind the vanilla. Sometimes I could do with running a bit more damage up. On Octobrush. Sometimes for Octobrush, and even Inkbrush, I could run this combo. You're giving up the comeback, but the damage overlapping will be a lot easier, especially for Octobrush. Well, and that was it. A very short class. Technically 2 for 1 again. Well, see you for part 3 of where we tackle Chargers. See you then.